Hi, this is Mayor Bob White, and I'm sitting next to Pastor Christopher Wolf of the First Reformed Church of Saddlebrook. We're here today to talk about our township's Community Partnership Committee. The committee was formed in 2016 or thereabouts, when Pastor Wolf came to me with the idea of partnering with all the groups in the township to provide support and resources for residents in need. The idea of the partnership is to share responsibilities and get as many groups as possible involved in the process. The purpose of this video is to inform the public about the committee and the services we provide. We will talk about how the committee has evolved through the years, our successes, some shortcomings, and where we are heading in the future. The format of this video will be a question and answer session with Pastor Wolf responding to my questions. So without further ado, I'd like to start. I'm going to introduce you to Pastor Christopher Wolf of the First Reformed Church of Saddlebrook. And Pastor Wolf, I'm going to start by asking you to tell us about the committee, how the committee started, and about the concept of community partnership.
You know, at all the churches I've served at, which a couple before I came to Saddlebrook, I've created a similar kind of program or similar kind of group in the sense that, you know, a community like Saddlebrook has great things going on. Schools, recreation, businesses, all of those things. But they all work in their own kind of zone or in their own silo. So the concept that I've thought for a long time, for many years, is if you can bring those groups together around a table, you can maximize, you can multiply their impact in the community. And then the other part is, yes, to raise awareness for people in need. Again, you can go along doing all your things and not be aware that there are, you know, people in this town who need food, people in this town who need assistance. And so we want to highlight that. So bringing those two ideas together, you know, I came to you and I said, hey, can we try this? And you were open to it. And it was a great testament to your leadership. And so, yeah, that was 2016. And we've been, you know, having these gatherings, you know, once a month basically for 6 years. And, you know, we'll talk about some of the things some of the important things we've accomplished. But again, even if we didn't accomplish anything, it's still a beautiful portrait of a community to come together, all different sectors, emergency services, faith communities, and sit around a table and say, how can we help people? How can we help people in need? So that's the idea.
Thank you. So what are the primary goals of the Community Partnership Committee?
Again, the goals are to get as many sectors of the community around the table as possible. And you and I have been working on that. You know, we're reaching out to businesses. We want to have more business representation. And so that's the first goal. The second goal is to, you know, when we have our meetings, we go around and we say, who needs help? Are we aware of families? Are we aware of individuals? Are we aware of situations that we can either provide information or, you know, direct services to that, you know, that might not be aware? And that's why it's important to have the schools there as well. Sometimes we have the high school principal, sometimes we have teachers there, and they tell us, hey, this family needs clothes, this family needs food, and we respond to that. So that's the goal. I've always maintained that when a community comes together and strengthens the vulnerable people in the community, the whole community is better for that. And that's, you know, I think that's, you know, one of the main goals.
I agree. Could you give me some examples of how we've partnered with groups in an effective manner?
Sure. I mean, so many at this point over the last 6 years, from little things like getting people rides to the doctor, you know, those kind of, you know, daily things that people have reached out and said, hey, I have nobody else to take me to the doctor. Can you do something about that? And they called the hotline, they called Christine and called the church, and somebody, you know, provided rides for that. Two larger scale things like businesses in town, Acme and Walmart and Ferraro Spine and other organizations that have provided, you know, very generous resources, whether that's packages of water during one of the floods that we had, Acme frequently donating to the food pantry, other businesses, Saddlebrook Dentistry, you know, provided food at one point for the food pantry. So, you know, the business part, as well. Also Kessler, very helpful. So there's a whole bunch of donations to the food pantry. There's another group, I think the Elks, I think we've talked about, who provided literally hot Thanksgiving meals for people. That was a beautiful thing too. So, and then I think just a lot of other kind of, support in general. We've supported families who have had sick children. So there's a whole bunch of things that I think, not a lot of other towns have this, where you're in Saddlebrook, you're in a town, and you can jump in and help people, or you can ask for help. You can call a phone number that's listed on the Saddlebrook Township website or Facebook page, and you can ask for help, or you can say, hey, I'd love to help. How can I help? I mean, it's a great vehicle for compassion.
Yes, a couple of other
Please.
organizations I'd like to mention. The Women's Club of
Yes,
Saddlebrook,
yeah.
Both the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts have had food drives. Those are just a few. There's many more. I'm sorry, we can't we can't think of them all right now.
Yeah.
But the next question is kind of in the same vein, is some examples of success stories.
Yeah.
Where the committee has been able to really make a difference. Any come to mind?
Sure. Another kind of thread of this would be the partnership that's been formed, or the collaboration that's been formed between the high school and the senior center. So many times now, either the choir or representatives from the high school have come over to the senior center to sing for the seniors, to help them do some crafts and games and things like that. So bringing together young people and older citizens, that's been a great thing that we've fostered. Kessler, again, has invited artists from the high school to put their art in the hallways. I've walked through there and seen that, so that was some great things as well. Again, I go back to the rides to the doctor. I think that's just a beautiful small town kind of thing where, there were a couple of times where people said, I couldn't get a ride to the doctor, can you help? And we provided that. And that's, it's a little thing, but it's a beautiful portrait of what's possible when you have all these groups together and you say, we want it, there's a commitment. And that's been another unique thing, I think, about Saddlebrook, fostered again by your leadership, but also just the idea of, I've gotten the sense in the more than 10 years that I've been here, is that there are a lot of compassionate people who want to help in this community. Maybe it's like that in others, I don't know, but I've found it to be unique in Saddlebrook that there are a lot of people, we've said many times at the meetings, we just need to let people know. And that's another great function. If you don't have this in your community, then people might get help. But when you have a purposeful existing vehicle like this, community partnership, then you have this, this idea that we care and we're there for you. And we're looking ahead to some other things we're going to be doing in the coming months as well.
Well, we are a very close-knit community. I've grown up here. I've basically lived here my whole life, and anytime someone is in need, they usually come together and to provide help and whatever they can do for the families.
There have been times where there were people, homes that there were fires, and we provided clothing. People, with the last flooding, we helped them as well. So, anytime, like you said, Saddlebrook, maybe all communities are like this, but at least in Saddlebrook, I've found all you have to do is let people know. There are people who need food, food shows up. People who need clothing, clothing shows up. People who need ShopRite or Acme cards, shows up. Women's Club, again, like you said, Women's Club, always looking to help.
Yes, exactly. One other success story that I wanted to mention, because it involves a business in town they've been here for quite a while, Dollar General.
Dollar General, yeah.
And they last year they did basically a toy drive at their store. They had a big box, and their customers came, and it was fabulous.
Yep.
The amount of toys that were received, and we brought them here for underprivileged or families that needed toys,
Yep.
and had a huge response. We were able to every toy that was collected was given to someone that was in need, and they came, and it was we we did it in such a way where we didn't advertise it to the whole community. We tried to reach out to the people that truly needed it, and they came in and made it, because sometimes people that need, if they're in a position where they can't afford things, they feel embarrassed by it and they don't want to be known.
Right, and we've tried to be careful with that as well.
Right.
I mean, when we're dealing with the schools, no names are given, no information's given. They'll tell us some numbers. They'll say this X amount of families need the help. So we're careful. We're very careful about that, and aware that there are families out there that need help, but it's difficult to ask for help, and we understand that, and that's why the phone number when you call, it's kept confidential, and the website, of course, if you send a message through that, that's kept confidential. But we want to keep reaching out to people and say, if you need some help, if you're a senior citizen at home and you need some care, or you need a ride to a doctor or something, we want you to reach out. That's the stuff we want to help with. If you're a young family and you need food, reach out. We'll get you that food. And then young people, we've always had an emphasis on young people as well. That when you think about your high school experience, if you were involved, you were around a lot of people, but that's a small amount of people in your high school, for example. So the rest are, not necessarily involved and not necessarily connected. And so we're constantly, that's why the schools are there at the community partnership, to be aware there are young people who are at risk and they need help, and we want to connect to them as well. When we first started the community partnership, we were concerned about connection. Isolated senior citizens, young families who are struggling, young people who are at risk. One of the main things that they wrestle with, in addition to food and things like that, is connection. Connection makes a difference for mental health. Connection makes a difference for quality of life. So we want to also be a place where we can connect you with other people. Joe Lecce does a great job at the senior center. We want to get more seniors out because, hey, maybe it's only a couple hours a week, but still, you're talking to people, you're playing bingo, you're doing stuff. It's great for mental health. So, we would say that as well. One other success story we should talk about is the high school teachers and staff and students multiple times a year provide. They do a soup can drive, they do a food drive, they drop off, 30 boxes of food multiple times a year. That's the students, the staff, and the teachers and the administrators as well. And then they also do a Christmas toy drive. So they'll reach out to me in November or so and say, how many families? And I give them the number, and they show up with new great gifts, basketballs, footballs, games, dolls, and a whole bunch of families are touched by that generosity. And the teachers love it. And when they drop off, we take pictures, and it's just a great experience to engage people in helping. And think about the experience you feel when you help. When you help others, you think, what, that was, I didn't think I was capable, or I didn't think it would make a difference. And and this guy's making a difference in the community. We're all, when you're involved, you're able to make a difference in the community, and lives are helped. Sometimes small, sometimes big.
So what were we hoping to accomplish by doing this video? What do you think?
From time to time, the mayor and I do these videos because we want, we're aware that not everybody knows that there's a community partnership. So one thing is we want to keep, in fact, one of the parts of our monthly meetings, which you're invited to, which is the third Thursday of the month, 6:30 at the senior center. Everybody's welcome. It's not just a special group. Residents, young people, everybody can show up. But the idea is, one part of the meeting is that we talk about how can we communicate? How can we raise awareness? And so the mayor and I have done these videos from time to tell people, one, it exists. It's a beautiful thing. It exists. And there's two ways to get involved. If you need help, please call. If you want to help, please call. So that's that. But we're aware that we want to get the word out that it exists and it's doing important, great work. Then the second thing is to keep kind of working on that barrier of, we understand that there are people in the community who are hesitant to ask for help, whether that's, feeling embarrassed or just that's not your thing to ask for help. but it's here. And so we want to keep pushing that and keep saying it's okay to ask for help. We keep it confidential. So those are the two messages of this video: to let people know it exists, and to let people know it's okay to receive help.
It's amazing how there are so many people that are either disconnected or they're living a busy life, and they don't know about many things, many programs we have in the town. And I do hear it. I get an earful sometimes when we have an event. How come I didn't know about this? And we try to do our best to get things out there. We have Our Town TV, which this will appear on. We have our town website. We have the Facebook page, Twitter. We're on Twitter, Instagram. So we try to do as much as we can to get the messages out, and we're going to continue to do that. And as far as the community partnership, we're going to continue to do these videos.
Yes.
I mean, not once a month, but maybe once a year, every year and a half or so. Pastor Wolf has been on me to do this, and we really needed to do this because we have accomplished a lot and done a lot, and we want the public to know about that. So more residents will get involved, want to help, maybe want to come to the meetings, and also hopefully we'll get a few people that might be a little embarrassed or whatever to know that we will keep everything confidential, and we will try our best to provide you with a service or send you somewhere where you can get whatever it is that you need.
Yes.
So I guess my last question is there anything else you want to tell the audience about the community partnership?
Well, just
already, but
absolutely no. I think that the church that I'm at, First Reformed Church, is glad to help in a lot of ways. Sometimes visible, sometimes behind the scenes, and glad that very thankful to be a part of this partnership. And again, it's been, the mayor and I for 6 years leading this, and a whole bunch of other people have been, consistently a part of it as well. And there's great satisfaction in knowing that we've got a mayor and other leaders who are interested in helping people, not just for, publicity, not just for headlines, but just because it's a good thing to do, and it goes with the character of this community, that there's compassion and that there's care and there's belonging, and we just want to keep expanding that. We want to keep increasing the connection and increasing the compassion, and it's been great. And we look forward, we're not done. There's plenty more to do. There's plenty new ideas coming down the pike, and you're gonna see more action from the community partnership in the coming months.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Pastor Wolf.
Thank you.
I just a final note. I just want to say, I don't want to leave on a somber note, but I feel compelled to mention that a great man, teacher at Saddlebrook High School,
Yes.
passed away earlier this year.
Yes.
Howard Weinberg. He was our coordinator. He did a tremendous job, and he really went above and beyond. He involved the school. They had a community partnership club at the school
students.
with the students. Yes, so he'll be sorely missed. Howard was a great man, and so I just wanted to end on that. But
Yes.
and our condolences to his family and all his friends. So, thank you.
Thank you.